YouTube. I have a lot to say right now about some fucking people who are ungrateful as fuck. But first I have to carry a live stream to YouTube. Okay, so I am over on YouTube. I'm gonna give it 2 minutes for everyone to join, and I have a lot to go into about all the fucking people who are always so happy and smiley when we're live streaming together and why that is. But before I end my favorite app live stream and carry over to you, I'm going to say a big thank you to Errol, Bug Baby, Josie, Lemon, Lori. We had Benny Blue. There's been so many awesome people. We're daily number 39 in the rankings. That is global rankings. Josie's here. Michelle's here. Everyone comment here if you're on my YouTube from favorite app. Annie, are you for real? I'm on YouTube and I have a lot to say about that person on YouTube, as nicely as possible. Gonna keep it as nice as possible, and I'm gonna also have a vegan dinner because I like to share my vegan food with all of you. I'm gonna talk about how sometimes my choice of words benefits other people. That's what I'm gonna talk about. So thank you everyone. My YouTube button is in my bio. My username is AdrielTube, and I'm gonna leave it at that. Bug Baby, why'd you say boom? Boom. What do you mean by boom? Boom, boom, boom. Oh, Bug Baby wants to talk. Hold on.
Should I use my Mr. UK voice?
They all think that Bug Baby is Mr. UK. They do this with a lot of conspiracy theories. They say, oh, that's her daughter, that's her mom, that's MD Fashion Co., that's Mr. UK.
Oh, I don't want to be Mr. MD. I want to be Mr. UK.
I was just about to hang out on YouTube, but I can't say no to a conversation with Bug Baby.
Listen. My goal is to get blocked by one more person today so I can make my quota.
They get real mad when my team members don't take the bait. That's the nicest way I can play.
Sunday fun day.
I had an interesting day today. I ran a few errands, forgot my phone at a Starbucks, had to run around and go back, hung out at home. My daughter baked a vegan pizza. It's been pretty chill and low-key for a Sunday. How was your day?
Oh, the weather is way better.
The weather is crazy nice. It's really hot outside.
Oh. Well, I'm not. I'm traveling, so I'm like not there. So
that's true.
I'll be there I think week after.
Really?
So,
oh wow.
Not near, close, but not that close.
Okay. Yeah, it's been humid.
Number 39. You only need 445.
We're really close. We're really close to number 38.
It's about you, not about them. It's about you.
Thank you.
When you keep it about you, it's not about somebody else.
That's a very good point. And right now, it's all about Bug Baby.
Oh, no. I'm going to go out. We got a Sunday fun day night tonight. So next week is big stuff with conferences. So I will see you soon. I just want to say hi and keep it classy. Bye.
Thank you for the positive vibes. See you next time, guys. All right, everyone. You know what? It's really nice when people on my team hop in, and it's nice to hear a voice that's full of high vibrational energy. It's the best way I can put it, and kick in the right direction, because you're right. It is. It's all about me. It's my live stream. It's not about anyone else. With that being said, I'm going to head over to YouTube. I'm on here right now and show you my vegan dinner that's about to go down. Hold on just a second, everyone. Yeah, I'm a little riled up today. How I feel about some things, it's hard streaming every day. You get put out there in the public and you have to practice self-discipline. And I'm grateful for people on my team like Bug Baby who keep my head in the right direction and revert my focus back to one thing. And the only thing that matters is it's my stream. I'll handle it how I want it to be. I can't make it about other people because that would be giving them what they want. And with that being said, I was really heated when I started this YouTube live stream and I was about to let some people get my goat. But given the circumstance that her high vibrations kind of like contagious onto me. I'm just gonna say a few things, kind of negative, but I'm gonna speak as gracefully as I can possibly speak right now, because I obviously am a little bent out of shape. But first, I'm gonna ban people who are leaving negative comments, because we don't need that. We don't need that. Oh, that's Missy. Okay, okay. You guys are awesome for being here. You guys are awesome for being here. And can we just say, like, there were so many people on my favorited live stream tonight. Thank you for being there. We were ranked 39. Thank you for making that happen. Let's do a Wi-Fi check. Wi-Fi check, everyone. How's the Wi-Fi? Comment yes if you can hear me. Comment how many fingers I'm holding up. If you can hear me, comment yes. If you can see me, how many fingers am I holding up? We're gonna start off with that. Yes. There's a little bit of a lag, so there's a 10-second lag that's expected. All right, so you can see how, okay, thank you. As gracefully as I possibly can. As gracefully as possible. Guys, I get how I really feel about some things is the title of this live stream. Woo! How I feel about some things. And Bug Baby just reminded me to keep it about myself, because these are my live streams and I can't let anyone get my goat, right? And that's why I chose to make the title of this live stream how I feel about some things. And things would entail my whole job as a creator, live streamer, vlogger, as a vegan, as a mother. There's a lot going through my head every day. Because again, a lot of people want to revert the focus to them when it's supposed to be about me and my team. The people who literally motivated me to keep moving forward, right? I've had so many amazing people motivate me to keep going, push through all the negativity, right? And shout out to Bug Baby, who really reminded me, this is all about you, it's your stream. So a very good point. Okay, with that being said, I just got a banging vegan calzone for dinner. Banging vegan calzone. Thank you, David. It's got mushrooms that are like white mushrooms, portobello mushrooms, vegan pepperoni, banana peppers, vegan ricotta cheese, vegan mozzarella, black olives, vegan buffalo sauce, and marinara. I'm gonna have half. Oh shit, hang on. Oh, I just got my phone all saucy. It's so saucy. Oh my God, it's saucy. I started out on social media to do one thing. Spread vegan lifestyle content. But I saw that people liked my real estate videos, and I made a lot of real estate videos as well. So if you're new to my YouTube and wondering what I do, my real estate videos were how I started on social media. And then vlogging my life came after that. And here I am now on YouTube. I'm no longer on TikTok. So I'm gonna go wash my hands. We're gonna sit down and you guys are gonna watch me eat a vegan calzone. Vegan calzones are life. And that buffalo sauce is so spicy in all the right ways. It is spicy in all the right ways. That's kind of like this live stream. It's about to be spicy. All right, first we're gonna just do, well, hang on. A little roster check. Who just came here from my favorite app live stream and who has absolutely no clue what favorite app is? So comment yes if you just came here from favorited. Comment no if you have no clue what favorite app is. So we're gonna say yes, you just came here from Favorited App, or no, you have no clue what Favorited App is, or hey, you might have watched me on Favorited App before, but you weren't watching me tonight. Yes, Josie's here. Thanks for helping me get doubles and always tapping the screen and being on the lookout and being a good friend. Whew. Vanessa, same to you as well as Josie. Thank you. Hi, Katie. I get really mad and people get my goat a lot, and I'm happy, but I saw the notification Bug Baby requested. Hi, Misunderstood. Libra, not Aquarius. How do I get this to go forward? It's like, hold on, let's do something there. Gotta lift it up. Here we go. Not like that. It's just like going backwards and it's like a weird angle. All right. Whew. Thanks, Vanessa. I love you too. Oh, Katie's Karma. Oh, Katie. You got a new profile pic. Got it now. I got you. Yes, Lemon. That is the Libra. Just creeping. Hey, Your Honor. I mixed up. So remember we were doing spooky talk? I thought that you and Katie were both Aquariuses that night, and or not Katie, Misunderstood. I thought you were both Aquariuses, and then I realized I was wrong. I needed a hair tie. I might want to put my hair tie up. A pair of scissors just appeared right there after I had been losing all my scissors. Just saying. So maybe it was one of the kids. Hi, Your Honor. Yeah, I know, you're the Aquarius. So the whole purpose of this live stream was I was going to vent and flip out and crash out. Like, I literally said I was going to flip out and crash out and say how I really feel. Then I saw a request from someone on my team, Bug Baby, who kind of reverted my focus back to myself. I need to find my hair ties. I need to put my hair up. Guys, come upstairs with me. I'm going to actually change my whole fit. I don't feel like wearing this. I was getting mad. I rage quit with a co-host. And I was getting annoyed with the chat. I was just like keeping it all in though. Not reacting. Keeping it all in. And I was about to log off. Bug Baby joined. So it made me think about being a little introspective. Focusing on myself. So when Bug Baby said that when she joined my live stream, remember, it's all about you. It made me question, why am I making my live stream about others? And I know that's like a really simple question that you would think I could just answer, but I'm starting to see the bigger picture here, and it takes me back to when someone once told me recently, Adrielle, when you feel the need to explain yourself, and in this case, when I choose to make my streams about others, you have an unresolved trauma about when you were a child and you weren't being heard. Like maybe you were trying to share your story of things. Maybe something traumatic happened and people wouldn't listen to you. But there's definitely something I've noticed about you that screams when you're not being heard, and it makes you come across as very defensive. And so tonight when Bug Baby said, remember, your live streams, well, she didn't even say that. Just remember why you're here. It's all about you. And I never really thought about it that way before. So, I'm gonna just talk a little bit once I get situated downstairs. I love the spooky talk as well. And last night, the marks were not on the window. The marks were not misunderstood. Hang on, I'm gonna read your comments when I sit down because I'm getting to it. I promise I'm getting to it. I know I'm not gonna ignore your comments, misunderstood. I just need to get ready to go sit down downstairs. And my son's playing music, hang on. All right, here we go. Okay. Okay, first things first. Actually, I just remembered one more thing. I have to mop the floor where the garbage bag was because that's gross. Okay, I'll clean better. So, man, the bug baby just by me. You know how they say sometimes less is more? And you can move someone by just saying the smallest things? You know, sometimes the smallest, shortest sentences have the most powerful message. That, I don't know why when Bug Baby said that, I've been like psychoanalyzing myself. Hang on, I'm gonna put my hair in a bun. Because it's crazy when she said that. It just made me switch up the whole dynamic of this YouTube live stream where I was actually gonna just start screaming and flipping out. So, yeah. Back to misunderstood. I'm going to read your comments after I finish a few things. I promise. I'm reading your comments after I just say a few more things. So there's this guy who knows me a lot. He's involved in my streams, and it's not Travel God. It's someone who I've known for like a little over a year now, and he said, Adrielle, when you get really upset on your live streams, it's always because someone's not hearing, and when you share your side of the story, like say someone treats you wrong, you get really defensive and you want them to hear you, you want to be heard. And he said, Adrielle, I even watched you do this when you were live streaming alone, when you were having a conflict with someone. I'm not going to say who. You weren't being heard. Your feelings weren't being heard. And I think this has something to do with your childhood where something really bad happened to you, and maybe you tried to tell an adult and they wouldn't listen to you. Like you weren't being heard. Like maybe something really bad was happening and you were trying to tell someone to help you feel safe and you weren't being heard. And I think that all of that has carried through with you into your adulthood, where when you're not being treated fairly or if you feel you're crossed, you fight so hard to be heard. And with that being said, it's really easy to trigger people on the internet. And Bug Baby tonight said, just remember, it's all about you. And when I was listening to her say those words, I was like, yeah, you're right. And I questioned myself, why do I make my live streams about other people? And it would default back to what that guy told me. There's something that's unresolved from your childhood that makes you have to be heard. And you get really defensive, like your life depends on it, and that's trauma. So how do you resolve it, right? You have to be aware of it. And you have to not let people have power over you, right? You're safe now. When you're an adult and you default to acting that way, that's like PTSD talking. Those are child behaviors. And so I guess when people say I'm acting childlike, or if I'm acting immature, or if I need to grow up and not care what people think. I think maybe that's something stemmed from when I was really young, coming out, that I've been unaware of this whole time, that he just pointed out to me. When I get on guard, you know, your body, your brain, you always go into a defense mechanism, and it takes you back to your childhood where there could be unresolved trauma when you fight to be heard. And so now that I'm aware of this, you know, part of EMDR therapy was to ground yourself and be aware of what your triggers are. So if the smell of fire burning wood, you know, if the smell of that smoke triggers you and you're unaware of it, and you start having a panic attack when you're around smoke, you're unaware of what caused it, and you can't practice grounding because you're unaware of it. So I have to start learning what my triggers are and not get emotionally invested when people try to fight for a reaction out of me. And remember, my live streams are about me and not other people. Thank you for the kind words. And now I'm going to go back and read Misunderstood's comments. They showed up because there were posts about me reacting to her on TikTok. And I have to keep my cards close to my chest. Don't tell anyone what I'm doing. Wait until it's over and you have successes. That's a good outlook to have. And kind of like how if you have a goal to achieve something, don't tell anyone yet because they'll try to sabotage you from reaching your goal. I understand that completely. That's a good point. Thank you, Misunderstood. I see, Your Honor. Yeah, I don't really like true crime cases, though. They scare me. Hi, Aaron. Thank you, Katie, and thank you, Rogue and Vanessa. So anyway, thank you, Jandis. With that being said, this live stream was going to go off on a totally different tangent, but like Bug Baby saved me from having a complete meltdown. And that's why I love live streaming, because if it weren't for such an amazing group of people who help me practice self-awareness and keep me motivated, you know, I wouldn't. It's just that simple. And I love that there's people who keep other people lifted up. Yeah, it's tough when you're streaming and sometimes things just aren't right. Yeah, Patricia. Thanks, Misunderstood. I know I was getting really upset, but I have to blow my nose. I'll be right back. I gotta stop letting people get my goat and remember and default that when I'm live streaming to just focus on myself and the people who are here from me and ignore everything else. With that being said, thank you for everyone who is on my favorited live stream tonight. If you came here to watch me rant and rave about how unfair it is to lose battles and all that stuff, you're not going to get what you want. And I owe that to Bug Baby for opening my eyes and being introspective. Thank you. I know, Andrea, it is, but at the same time, I just practiced it. I don't know how to explain what it is, but I just experienced a small change. So that's better than nothing, right? And I really do feel bad for people who experience cyberbullying. And I really wish that when I was trying to reach out and stream with this person, I really just wanted to bring a positive person into her stream because I know that she struggles. And I have to practice. Hold on just a second. From now on, I have to practice. This goes back to that unresolved trauma. If someone doesn't understand your message, I have to remember it's about me and it's not about them. If they don't get the memo, I don't need to fight for justice and be heard, because at this point in my life, I'm safe and I can hear myself. And so instead of becoming resentful, angry, and spiteful at people not hearing or understanding me, I need to just accept the fact I tried and move on to focusing on myself. Because when you focus on yourself and just remember that you are safe and accept the fact that not all people are going to understand you, life becomes so much easier, and it's easier to focus on your own actions. And over the last few days, because I've been talking to this guy, and he's really trying to wake up this clear-cut behavior in me, where a lot of the times I get upset are when I'm not being heard. I'm trying to fight for what's fair. I'm trying to say, hey, hear me, when I don't have to do that, because I'm not a child anymore, not being heard. It doesn't matter, because all of that is over with and I'm safe now. So next time I get really upset about something and I feel like I'm not being heard, I can't expect all people to understand me. I can only express myself respectfully and express myself with kindness and move on. It's not your life it's not your life goal for people to understand you. So, and if you get misunderstood, it's not the end of the world. That's a good point, Jetty Spaghetti. I like that. Thanks. I just wish I knew more about like brain chemistry or like your psychology, back to not being heard when you're trying to speak about something and get help for something, Thanks, Patricia. Man. I don't know if any of you have ever felt that way. If you're being treated unfairly, you get very defensive and explode. Who's it by, Katie? I'll look into it. There was an audiobook that was also sent to me from this guy that I forgot to listen to. What's the name of it? I mean, the author of it. Well, I love when people who are older than me give me advice. Like, for example, I have a family member who's in their 60s, but when they were in their 50s and I was going through a really hard time, this was when I was juggling, driving back and forth, breaking up with my ex, and I was going from the school to my mom's house, back to the school to my mom's house. I was driving like 90 miles a day. It was like an incredibly stressful part of my life. She taught me about compartmentalization, and she said, Adrielle, if I were to have learned about compartmentalization when I was at your age, I would have saved myself from so much pain and emotional stress. And compartmentalization is something I learned how to do. Okay, thanks, Katie. I'm waiting to write it down. And now I need to learn how to practice compartmentalization when I'm live streaming. Whether it's through comments that are triggering, whether it's through me saying something that gets misunderstood while I'm streaming, whether it's a streamer who's, whether it's just some mix up between a streamer who doesn't like me or something along those lines. Or whether it's as simple as I keep losing and I'm not feeling too hot about it. I need to learn to practice compartmentalization, not just in my real life, because I've got that down on lock, but I also need to learn how to practice compartmentalization on my streams and content. And I'll tell you the best example of compartmentalization, okay? The most recent time when I practiced compartmentalization, who remembers I dated a guy in February, I really liked him, and then I found out he lied about being divorced. He was actually in the process of divorce, and he had a legal separation, and he was living with his family member. And who remembers I decided to give it a shot anyway after he lied, and then he dumped me anyway, even though we only knew each other for a week, right? Who remembers I just practiced compartmentalization, and that was that. That is an example of me practicing compartmentalization in my real life. I need to learn how to apply that and grow as a streamer to continue growing and thrive on here. Because honestly, the way I'm going, with people getting reactions about me, or with people getting reactions from me, it's just not good. And if I can learn to be aware of what triggers me and practice compartmentalization so that I can redirect my focus back to myself and my awesome community, I think I'll grow way better on social media if I can do that. Also, I forgot what I was going to say. JK, thanks. Hi, Julie. Thank you, Josie. Oh, the book is by Oprah? What Happened to You by Oprah? That's interesting. Okay, I'll look it up. No, Corinda, I think I'm good because I've already learned a lot of strategies in therapy that I apply to this day in my real life. But I think I'm going to work through and use those strategies on while I'm streaming and see how I turn out. See how it turns out. Hey, yeah, I like that. Thank you. ID, Lickery. I'll call you ID. Oh, hang on. That's really loud. I don't want to get a copyright. The Four Agreements, who's that also by? I'll look into that one too. Because I swear, man, I was really about to, you know, be immature. I was really about to be immature. Okay, I'm writing that down. And now it's all starting to make sense. When you get triggers from your childhood trauma, you regress and act immature. So I would like all of you guys, when you're watching my live streams, to point out when you can tell I'm being triggered and what it was that triggered me. And I'm going to start to be more aware of it. That's a good question. I'll think about it, Your Honor. I mean, I don't know. I know, Katie, it's weird. Oh, thank you, Julie. The brand is Ardell. They're available from the Amazon link in my bio. I mean, if someone's speaking to me with kindness, compassion, and love with good intent, they're not going to get muted. Yeah, I know. liquory. I understand that. I used to journal so much when I was a kid, starting at like age 7 when I learned how to write cursive. I quit journaling probably when I was 17, around there. I used to write songs too and poems. And that was part of this website called Urbex that's no longer in existence. So, thanks, Julie. Last night I tried to call my friend when I was on a YouTube live stream to put her on speakerphone, but I forgot what the subject matter was. She responded to me today. She sent me a long message, really nice message. She is in the hospital, unfortunately, and I hope she has a fast recovery. So, thanks, Amelia. Oh, hang on, mute. I don't like when there's music playing. I mute because I don't want to deal with a copyright. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example of how I just practiced being aware of my triggers. So, obviously, in this live stream, I've deleted a lot of people, right? I've banned some people for writing rude comments. And I felt triggered, but I didn't react to it. But I'm going to just give you an example of a trigger. I just got emotional and I started kind of crying. You know, I tried to hold the tears back successfully, and I did. It's mostly when, you know, people misunderstand me. So someone said, "What kind of eye drops did you use to have such realistic looking tears?" That's something that would trigger me, and that I'm aware of now is me trying to fight for my truth. It's just as simple as that. Lauren, I'm going to go to the post office tomorrow and get my letter stamped and buy about maybe 10 stamped envelopes. That's an example. It always comes back down to that one thing, me feeling the need to defend myself. And you know, my friends growing up, they said I'm not defensive around my friends, but in some situations I get really defensive. And it's like, it's always been that way my whole life. They're like, you don't have to be defensive. And that wasn't really answering, that wasn't like the bigger picture here. I think the reason I get defensive is because of unresolved trauma. And I think that might apply to a lot of people who aren't even aware of it, being defensive. I think being defensive is my most immature trait that I have to start growing from. Not growing from, being aware of to grow from. Grow big, you know what I'm saying. Because look what happened at the coffee shop. They asked me to stop filming, and instead of just, that's the best example I can think of, right? They asked me to stop filming. It doesn't matter why. There's no reason to be defensive. If I'm being respectful and I'm being kind and there's no problem, and if they're being respectful and they're being kind and there's no problem, and they simply are just saying, don't film in here anymore, there's no reason for me to have a childish outburst and regress as a child and have a tantrum. I didn't do anything wrong. And it all goes down to that trauma of being a child in a situation where I feel like I'm not being heard, where something happening is unfair and I'm not being heard. Most people who don't experience trauma in their childhood, where they try to reach out for help, right? Say you're experiencing a traumatic event in your childhood and you go to your go to your closest family members who love you and you say, hey, I really need help. This happened. This is really scary. And they just ignore you and blame you, right? And say something like, oh, well, you wouldn't have seen that if you would have just listened and been in your room. Or, oh, you wouldn't have done that if, or you wouldn't have experienced that if, oh, I don't know how to explain this one. You would have just done this, right? Where instead of, it's their job to keep you safe because you're 7 years old, they put it back on you, right? And so you go to another adult and say, hey, I told this family member about this and they said I should have just been in my room, right? I don't know if anyone else has experienced that in their childhood, but I did a lot. Where you go to, you feel like you're not safe and something bad really happens, or you witness something really scary and they say, oh, well, if you would have done this, you would have never seen it. Or if you would have done this, it wouldn't have happened, right? And I feel like now as an adult, when something unfair happens, I regress into that child who just wants people to hear. Dude, I feel so stupid right now. It sucks, but it's true. And that's something I need to become aware of. I regress into a child who just wants people to hear and keep my feelings safe and nurtured, right? So I guess maybe when you grow up and your feelings and your emotions aren't nurtured, but you're expected to nurture everyone else's feelings because your own hurt feelings are your own fault, right? You know, I don't know if anyone grew up like that, where you're scared, but it's your fault. Or, hey, you're worried, but it's your fault, right? Anyway, that's something I guess I just opened my eyes to, and I don't really know where you go from there. So what do you guys think? I don't know if you guys understand what I'm saying. You guys get what I'm saying? It's a tough topic for me to put into words. It's kind of hard to define love, right? How do you feel when you feel love? It's really hard to put feelings into words. And this whole time, I felt like I was right about the coffee shop. I'm just learning I was wrong. It's because I'm immature and childish. And I need to, next time I feel like I'm not being heard, revert and be aware of the fact, hey, I am being heard and I'm an adult now. I'm a safe person, whether or not this person hears me out. It's not my job for other people to understand me. It's only my job for me to speak with kindness, respect, grace, and show love. That's really all it boils down to. And I wish I would have learned that sooner in life. Oh, God, I don't know what my problem is right now. I mean, this is the second day I started crying out my fucking live stream and tell me it's not PMS. Sheesh. How do I follow through, though, is the question. How do you do it? That's the question. You just have to be aware of your triggers and to focus on yourself. If I say one thing, I'll tell you one thing. I followed through with it on this live stream after I put the dots together. Because if it weren't for Bug Baby, I hope Bug Baby doesn't think I'm insane for even talking about her a lot. When Bug Baby said, just remember it's about you, it made me put a connection together with what this guy told me a few days ago and question, why am I making my live streams about other people? And I guess I just had an epiphany. So you guys just watched me have an epiphany. So, who's Payan? Tina, that's something my friend is really focused on in life is mindfulness. And I guess it is embarrassing when you have a childish regression and a total temper tantrum or what the people, right? It really is. And then the craziest thing is that I wasn't even aware of it. Was it fair that other people could stream in there or whatever, make videos and take pictures in there? No. Is life fair? No. Do people still deserve respect for making their own rules? Yes. Do adults understand this? Yes. Do children understand this? No. So when children are in a situation that's unfair, do they have tantrums? Yes. When adults are in a situation that's unfair, do they have tantrums? No. When adults regress, when adults face triggers with unresolved trauma, when adults face triggers that bring back unresolved trauma that they're unaware of, do they regress into childlike behaviors such as tantrums? Yes. So I need to figure that out and be more aware of it. I really need to be more aware of it. Follow through with what is the question? The only solution is to be aware of what my triggers are, because regression is caused by triggers. And I liked working in school because when I worked in the school, they had the best set of rules and I was trained, right? I was trained to act this way in this situation. I was literally trained, if a student is, for example, throwing a spit wad at another student, I'm trained to do this. If a student is struggling at reading comprehension, I'm trained to do this. It was a really good job for me because it was so articulate. Live streaming and social media is not. Live streaming and social media is literally a free-for-all for me to just flow freely and be myself. And unfortunately, I've been myself this whole time. That included childlike regressions into complete outbursts and tantrums. So with that being said, I have to focus on myself and not others. That's the best way I can put it. So if someone is triggering me, I need to just focus on myself. That's the best way I can put it. Thank you, Cape Cod. I agree. Let me go back and keep reading. I'm sorry. I'm on a tangent right now. Ugh. Well, the thing is, when I had therapy, I wasn't on social media, and everything was great in my physical waking life. Tina, that's a good point. There's negative energy on social media, and that energy can transfer from one thing to the next, including people. I can feel that sometimes. I have to be open to change and not get defensive. Mel. Energy healing like Reiki. That's so cool because when I worked at a winery, I the owner's mother, she's amazing. She's a Leo. She was a Reiki master, and she said she would love to do energy work with me. And she said I had really good energy. She was a really nice person. I never went. I saw her every week. She was so nice. She was beautiful. She had curly hair. She was tan. She's just super toned. Oh, she was great. Hi, Zoe. We're just hanging out, chatting, talking about the intro. I'm being a little introspective right now. I guess that would be the word for it. Mel, I like that. I'm actually gonna type that into my phone and see if they have anything like that around here. I think that would be the best way for me to move forward on social media. If someone does this, I just need to live my life and focus on myself. And not what the next thing is going to be. Because when I get defensive and expect something bad to happen, I'm focusing and putting the spotlight on others when I really just need to focus on myself and be happy. And above all, encourage others to be happy. Oh. Thanks, Holly. I think that if I were to run away from this on social media, you know what I mean? It wouldn't really, I wouldn't be able to grow and focus on this. So, no, I like doing social media regardless. It's something I've always liked to do since I've been on it. I really do like doing social media. I take supplements. I have to take the rest of my supplements. I haven't taken them yet today. I ordered my D3 supplements. Misunderstood. Not really. Because in the beginning on my social media, think of it this way. I wanted to be heard, okay? And I made it very public when I wanted to be heard. Whereas, like, I hate to make this example because this one was the most controversial of them all. The state trooper, right? I got pulled over when I went through a yellow light. That's a fact. Recorded the whole thing. Got pulled over, or got followed by him a couple days in a row and then pulled over by him for a seatbelt check. All of that could have been kept private, and I could have just done the internal affairs thing privately without having a tantrum and wanting to be heard. So I would argue, no, not really. I think that a lot of my outbursts were triggers making me want to be heard. And the coffee shop would have been the next one. The TJ Maxx thing would have been the next one, right? And I think that, like, from now on, it's not about me going through a red light or not a red light, a yellow light, whatever. It's not about me being told, hey, we don't want you to film in here. It's about how I react. You know what I mean? How I react. Because if I could have just taken the advice I got a couple days ago versus the advice now and paired them together, I would have learned you can always react with kindness and love. You're still going to be safe. You're still going to be okay. And if anything, you're going to also let those people know they're being heard. So you know what I mean? So if life gets unfair, you can still react fairly and respectfully whether or not you agree. Because you as an adult know that you can keep yourself safe, it doesn't matter what other people think. So anyway, I don't know how to put this into words. So yeah, the haters suck, but they weren't always there, you know what I mean? They weren't always there. I had a huge community in the beginning before all those controversial moments happened. So Oh, thanks, Lindsay. I appreciate that. That's a good. Thanks for being positive and all that. Thanks, Cape Cod. I'm sorry, Lori. Oh, thanks, Your Honor. I've come to think of it, something that drew me to the internet when I was a kid was connecting with so many people who would hear me and give empathy to me when I had stories and stuff, right? It started when I was like 8 years old. I was joining chat rooms and just talking about my life. And then I went to MySpace and I met so many awesome friends online, and it was like this isolating existence as an only child. Kind of just, everyone's turning their back on my feelings and finding people online who heard my feelings and I could hear theirs and we could just share stories and relate. So now pair that with the fact you can also be good at social media and build and apply for monetization programs and stuff like that. I just really truly think I was meant for this type of thing because it's like something that awoke in me from, those not isolated feelings, but yeah, I don't want anyone to rage. And there I go again, getting triggered. I gotta be more aware of it. It doesn't hurt to respond to someone if you're being kind, right? Oh. Whew. Sister wishes, I like that idea. Thank you, Sherry. So do you. Julie, thank you. Can I ask everyone how old they are and if they're only child, stuff like that? Someone said they spent so much of their life being a right fighter and it gets you nowhere. I wish I would have learned that earlier and implemented it, and I see you like I was for a long time. That's exactly what my family member told me when I was letting my emotions control my decisions, right? In my real life, like at my job, with my ex, she taught me compartmentalization, and that was 4 years ago, and that helped me so much. Now this is something I gotta focus on. Thanks, Lori. Thank you, May. Thank you, Katie and Josie, me, Holly. So 47, 32, 33, 37, 41. May, you're 47. How old were you when you learned that you don't have to be a right fighter? I hate to make this comparison and make this political, but I feel the same. Like, it's really similar to people who fight for their cause, whether they're extremely right or extremely left, and they spend so much of their time fighting for their political beliefs, and it just exhausts them more than it does help them. Oh, Spooky, you're 33. Jennifer, thanks for being here. You're 53. Tina's 43. Lori's 63. Cape Codder was like Jan Brady. She's 58, middle child. 45, has one sister. Vieta, Wisconsin's 51. Zoe, I get that. That's true. Like if you were to live stream a group of nurses or a group of teachers, they would get a lot of shit. Because everyone has opinions about things. 59, 39, 61, 67, oldest of three. 39, also an only child like me, and an Aries. 45 and 40. Barbara, I'm really sorry to hear that, and I'm happy you survived by that. Was there ever a point in time where you experienced, like for a long-term period of time, you felt defensive about a lot of things? Or no? You didn't discover how to quit fighting for what's right and to just focus on, wait, let me repeat what you said. I know you don't mean any harm by that. It gets you nowhere when you fight for what's right and you wish you would have earned that earlier and implemented it. I get what you're saying. Not fight for what's right, like, I know exactly what you're saying. Like, fight for being, I get what you're saying. Like, defensiveness. I used to get really mad at my friend growing up. A couple of my friends who said I need to quit being so defensive in certain situations. I get so defensive. And I used to get these huge arguments with them. And cause they weren't calling me defensive. So, like, let me explain. My friends growing up, they understood me completely. I never got defensive around them, probably because we nurtured each other's feelings, right? But there were always, like, these circumstances with other external factors where I'd get extremely defensive, right? And they would say, they were saying that's your biggest flaw, you get defensive. And I would get so mad at them, like, how can you not understand? And I get it now, 20 years later. Turning 40 was amazing. Sister, yeah, it's all starting to make sense now, because instead of calling people defensive, you could do what my friend told me a few days ago and explain, I notice you want to be heard in situations that are unfair and you fight for your life like it depends on it, and that's a sign of an unresolved trauma from your childhood. And maybe there was a point in your childhood where something scary happened, something traumatic happened, and you weren't being heard, and it's totally true. This is why I like how when there's people older than me giving me this advice, because I swear to God I'll take it to face value and learn from it. You'll still be heard, but you communicate and react in a different way. And you can always choose to not react and focus on yourself. And damn, I've had a lot of childlike tantrums, but I really, really, really need to focus on myself and be aware of what triggers are. So, Vieta, Wisconsin, yeah. That's an interesting perspective. I like that. Can you explain more what you mean? Yes, Tammy. Thanks, Mike. I do. Let me read all your comments. You're the only child, you're 30, and I'm sorry you lost your dad. You would get angry instead of grieving and you were triggered. Your mom passed away too. I'm sorry, Mike. I didn't know that. Could I have been reacting because I wasn't heard as a child? Yeah. It's all clicking for me right now. And more human connection too would be great. Hugs. I hug my kids every day. I love them. I really love them. I really do. And it's crazy. Like, it's just, I don't know. I really do love them. I hug them every day. And yeah, more other adults in my life would be great, but I'm really grateful to have nice, loving kids. So, yeah. If you feel like you have to always have to prove yourself and your motives, you always feel in danger of being abandoned if you didn't receive unconditional love as a child. Yeah. Crystal. Thanks, Lori. Man, this live stream reminds me of the old days when I was first on TikTok. Ugh. I'm okay, Little Red. How are you? I'm not sad right now. I'm not. I'm just, like, overwhelmed, I guess the word would be. I'm sorry, Tammy. Me too, sister. Like I said, I was parentified at a really young age. I've said that a lot. I guess I never really had anyone point out how that carried through my life. Um, yeah, when you get parentified at a young age, you're aware of it, but you don't really know how your behavior stays the same, right? Because if you're parentified at a young age, you can't be nurtured because you're nurturing other people and looking after other people. And there's parts of you that won't grow. So, oh, thanks, Cam Jam. And then your needs as a child aren't met, and you're raised up in an environment that never gave you the opportunity to be a child and be hurt, and that hurts. Yeah, that's exactly it. Because when you try to share your feelings of whether it's fear or being concerned or worried, it just gets put back on you, and your feelings aren't nurtured. And maybe that is also connection, like in connection to what VA to Wisconsin said. It's about unconditional love. Okay, VA to Wisconsin. I like being barefoot, yeah. Oh, wow, thank you for the super chat. This might make you laugh. I just went to take my trash out on the streets barefoot and stepped on a lizard. Thank you, Kalmar. Everyone, show her some love. Thank you for the super chat. You don't have to do that. You're amazing too. Thanks for the love. Like, I hate to do this because this is really recent. Talker's Nana. I felt her, like, okay, so this is a really recent event that I probably shouldn't even bring up, but I got scared. Guy with the pew pew. I was also understanding of him. So it's not like I thought badly of him. I was just having a human reaction on live stream to something that I was witnessing with no context. And then I find out what the context is, and all the trolls are saying, oh, lawsuit, lawsuit. And then Tucker's Nana says, honey, if you were to come to me as a client respectfully, after reading that transcript, I wouldn't accept you. And someone who I thought I was close to, it's that feeling of abandonment, I guess that's what it is, and not being heard, that triggers a regression, and then you have a childlike outburst. So in stupid situations like that, I can either choose to just focus on myself and ignore, focus on myself and have a mature reaction and say something like, I appreciate your perspective. All perspectives are unique, and just move on. I have to remember, whether someone I'm close to or not disagrees with me or doesn't understand my feelings, whether or not I'm misunderstood, I have to remember I'm safe. My life doesn't depend on that. I feel like up until this point, that's why I get triggered and have a meltdown like that. You guys get what I'm saying? Yeah. Yeah, Sister Wishes. And it's with women more than it is men. Because a lot of people say I act different around women and men. And it's probably because a lot of my trauma comes from women. So that's probably why it's easy. That's probably why I don't freak out and have a meltdown when it comes to men. That's probably what it is. I don't know if any of you guys ever picked up on that. Like, how many times have you seen a complete fucking meltdown? Like with Debbie, for example. You know what I mean? I know, I'm laying it on thick tonight. It's all Bug Baby and someone else's me putting connections together. Because it all started a few days ago. Someone woke me up to, hey Adrielle, if this is too much, you could just tell me to stop. If I'm crossing a boundary, just tell me to stop. But I see unresolved trauma in you. You're really fighting to be heard when you're misunderstood. And that goes back down to you being having triggers that wake up an unresolved childhood trauma. That's what you need to work on. And then tonight, I swear to God, I was planning on having a live stream where I was just gonna flip out and go crazy about 2 streamers tonight, not 3, 2 streamers tonight. Like, oh, I'm taking advantage of blah, 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 blah. But lo and behold, Bug Baby sent a request to join a box. And she said she's just here to talk about some things. And Adrielle, just remember, it's about you. It's about you. I'm like, yeah, you're right. My live streams are about me. And in my head, I'm thinking, why am I making my live streams about other people? And that was when I connected the dots to a conversation I had a few days ago with a guy who watches and understands my live streams for like the last year and a half. And I just made those connections. Well, why am I making my live stream about other people? Well, it goes back to what he said. I have this need to prove myself where I get defensive and want to be heard and understood, which boom, boom, causes me to have an outburst, a childlike outburst, and here we are. So yeah, laying it on thick. The funny thing is your mom was abusive and she always had men in the house and she did things with those men and you had to... I'm sorry, Sister Wishes. I understand completely. Even though it's not... It's vicarious, Even though it's vicarious, it's still not okay. Which is why I'm so weird about keeping dating separate from having my parent life. You know what I'm saying? If you're dating, just keep it outside of your house. Don't introduce men to your kids. I've had friends whose moms did shit like that and all the above. So I'm sorry, Sister Wishes. I understand completely. Thank you, Holly. Misunderstood. Yeah. But I don't think I need to have that need anymore to be heard. You know what I mean? What I need to do is remember that I'm a grown adult now, responsible for all of this. My kids, me, my emotions. And I won't be in a defensive position if I don't put myself in that defensive position. Back to when I worked at the school. I was trained to never engage in power struggles. Therefore, I never engaged in power struggles. So, you don't argue back and forth with students. No, you don't engage. If a student is having an outburst, you handle it accordingly through either the guidance office or you give them a breather. You don't go back and forth. The issue with me is on live streams and with other streamers, etc., feel the need to go back and forth. Therefore, I put myself in a defensive situation. So I wouldn't feel this need to be heard if I only just did what Bug Baby said and focus on myself. And I wouldn't lash out and have an immature outburst if I were aware of what's triggering me and handle it like a mature adult. And it's a tough pill to swallow. Oh, thanks, Mel. Thanks, Crystal. I did, Holly. And yeah. Thanks, Your Honor. Tina, it's true. Your brain changes. And I studied that in a human biology course. It literally, affects your brain. Yes, Angelina, he has been very helpful. But at the same time, he doesn't know what my triggers are. He only sees when I'm triggered. It's my job to start understanding what the triggers are. And like someone else said, start practicing mindfulness. So with that being said, what's mindfulness? And I'm going to catch up on the comments. Ugh. It made you a better person. You've had a successful career and you create journals now for a living because you're retired. So you'll find out healing trauma frees you. It will. We all need to be heard, and we are when we are with the right people. Yeah, that's true. Tammy's in Canada. Holly, I'm sorry about the cat. Dilleen, yeah, exactly, right? I'm always feeling attacked, right? Waiting for what's going to happen next. And that's my choice. So what I need to do now from that is focus on myself. Kira still is true. We are Aries. What did Kelly say? I'm way back in the comments. I don't think I saw what Kelly said. Mel, I had so much structure working in the school and bartending. I like jobs with rules. Bartending, strict rules. School, strict rules. I hated the pharmacy because there weren't that many rules, right? Don't sweat the small stuff. And 95 of the stuff that's small, 95% of the stuff is small. I want so bad for my point to be understood by everyone. It's not that realistic. That's what my family member told me. So, who remembers I was getting really, really triggered by someone in my messages, and I refuse to say who it was. I was so triggered. My family member said, please, Adrielle, end this conversation. It's going to be hard. Just say, hey, I agree completely. Thank you. I could understand you. Have a nice day. Because, Adrielle, you're going in circles arguing over a fallacy that's not even real. You're not going to see eye to eye, and you don't have to see eye to eye. If you don't end this conversation, you are going to keep looping in circles, fighting each other's perspectives, and it's going to cause stress. So, Adrielle, do you want peace or do you want stress? I said, peace. She said, then please just say, I agree with you. I understand completely. Thank you. Have a good night. And the conversation just ended with a thumbs up. And that was that. It was that simple. And like, you're right, May. 95% of the stuff I sweat is not that deep. But with children, it is, right? And so if I can just start being aware and practicing mindfulness like the person said before, I will literally, 95% of my day will be just so much easier. So it can be tough to change old habits that help us survive a difficult childhood. That's, yeah. A tiger in the room. We're in a fight or flight during our triggers. The worst part of sudden outbursts is the extreme guilt you feel after. And that's why I'm happy I didn't go through with my live stream tonight and I decided to switch it up. People who don't have them don't understand outbursts are out of our control. Something else takes over, Marbear. Thank you. I understand that completely. As soon as it becomes an argument, you've already lost. Yeah, Julie, it's a power struggle. Ducks are ticklish? Thanks, Johnny. You're in a fight or flight all the time. I'm sorry, Tammy. That's how I've been feeling. Like, literally, I just said this the other day. I have literally felt like that my whole life. Breath work, meditation, mindfulness a few years ago at first was hard but amazing. Now, once you start not giving hate gifters knowledge that it triggers you, they'll stop and leave and give no attention to it. Yeah, mindfulness is centering in self. That's why Bug Baby brought that out in me. It centers me back to myself. Journaling and reading. Yeah, I'm going to read some of these books you guys mentioned. Focus on yourself and people who support you. It's hard to focus on yourself when you carry responsibilities for others. Like, being a mom, kids, rent, food is overwhelming. Bills are overwhelming. This is a great conversation and there's no hate in here at all. Right. Oh, hang on, music. Okay, I'm gonna keep catching up. Some structure would help. This is a great conversation. No hate at all. You've endured so much hate. I would have broke on day 2. You're stronger than you think. Yeah. But however, thank you, Darcy, for the gift. Thank you. The hate, I would argue, is a result of the outbursts. And sometimes outbursts don't have to be loud, screaming, and crying. Sometimes outbursts can just be a fight to defend oneself in a situation that's not called for, right? So, let me find an example. If a bartender says you can't sit here if you're just going to drink water, I'm calm. I'm explaining and defending myself. Maybe I'm not screaming and crying, but defending yourself isn't called for because it's such a small thing. Like 95% of the tangents I'd go off on and the defensive videos I'd make just weren't called for. Even though it's not like a screaming, crying meltdown, it leads to hate because, how do I put this? Like, even though I'd respect that person's wishes, or maybe say, oh, I've done that before. You know what I mean? It's like childlike reactions that lead to people getting upset. And it's like once so many things happen and so many people react, I'm not saying it's okay to be hateful on the internet, right? But what I'm saying is when you're putting it on the internet and you're acting childlike, people are going to hate on you. That's just like the best example of this would be Debbie. Debbie has childlike outbursts and flips out. And as a result, people get fed up with it and hate on her. And I obviously am aware of this. And I would never say it's okay to hate on her. And so what I'm saying here is, no, I'm not deserving of hate. Nobody is. But what can attract so much hate would be the fact that I felt so needy for emotional security that I'm a grown adult. I can handle my own emotional security. So basically what I'm saying here is if I'm ever in a situation where I feel rejected, abandoned, or misunderstood, I need to focus on what's triggering those 3 things and either ignore it, communicate respectfully, maturely, or express my perspective in a way an adult would. Like, not, like, yeah, okay, maybe in the moment I'm being respectful, but like all of the videos and venting and stuff is unnecessary. How do you explain this? It's so hard to explain this to people who don't understand. Like, when you get triggered, you have I guess it would be a childlike, overwhelming emotion that makes you go crazy and you look crazy, and that makes people call you crazy. And so what I'm saying here is, while you say I've endured so much hate, you would have broken on day 2, I'll still have hate, right? But it won't be for that reason if I focus on what my triggers are and abolish the childlike tantrums, because there's no need for it anymore. My life doesn't depend on it. And that goes back to how strong how strong of an impact unresolved childhood trauma can have in your adult life. It can have one hell of an impact. You should recognize if you're being heard, or I should be recognizing if I'm being heard or if I'm trying to be right, because those are 2 different issues. I like rules because life was chaotic and unpredictable when I was young. You can relate. Yeah, I do. I really do. I do. That's probably why I got along so well with my teachers growing up. I loved the classrooms I was in. I always followed the rules. It wasn't until like things in the hallway with my peers would happen if I would get in trouble, right? I never ever got in trouble in my classrooms. Trauma is not small. It'll affect your whole life. It's not small. I'm getting it, Sherry. Create a structure for myself. What worked for me in the schools and bartending, how it can be applied to online. It's funny because, like, when you're at work, you just separate your personal life and personal emotions and just focus on work. So you don't need to get emotional at work. And I need to apply that to this. Be aware if I'm getting emotional and set up a structure and system of how I'm going to take control over my emotions and maintain composure, right? Like for example, I had a kid sneeze on me and spit on me, right? When I was at work, because he was just being defiant. He didn't want to write his notes. He didn't like being told what to do, so he spit on me. And I just took a step back. The other teacher in the room obviously saw it and sent him to the office, right? And then I went to the bathroom, washed my face, and moved on with my day. There's no need to get emotional in that situation because there's the system set up. Oh gosh. Another example would be, there's so many situations in a job when you're working at a bar where you want to get emotional, but you don't need to because there's rules in place. So if a guy were to ask me personal questions about my personal life at a bar, I would just say simply, oh, I don't talk about that here. I'm just pouring drinks. Do you need another beer or do you like the channel we have on the TV? It's really simple to stay grounded and have boundaries when you're at work versus when you're on social media and you don't make the rules. So basically what I'm saying is rules were made for me at work. In this case, rules aren't made for me. And I've low-key become a tyrant. So I set up rules where it's really simple. It's always my emotions that get the best of me. And if I am getting emotional over something, I just have to put those boundaries in place, emotional boundaries. It won't matter if it won't matter in 5 years, don't give it 5 minutes. I like that. Bye. Hang on, I'll be right back. My son's gonna make homemade soup right now with all the stuff we got today. All the celery, cauliflower. Hi, Amber. We could all use what advice, Your Honor? Oh man, the comments are going fast. I'm still way back. Yeah, Delene, it's PTSD. Your grandfather always said none of this will matter to us in 100 years. It will, though, if I don't grow from it. That's the thing. Flight or fight sucks. Hi, King. Yeah, we're okay. It's an interesting live stream right now. We're kind of like, I'm having an epiphany. I'm sorry, Amber. Thank you again, Darcy, for the Sunday. That's how far back I am. Thank you, King. I don't know if you're still here. Let me just go back to see where we're at right now. What is, sister? What is it that triggers me about live streaming? You guys would have to know because I'm not aware of it right now until Bug Baby just brought me aware of it. Like, for example, I almost just started a live stream about other people feeling the need to be heard and understood. Yeah.
You know where the chicken broth is?
Chicken broth might be in the fridge. You can do you want to listen to music?
No.
Okay. Do you want help making the soup?
No.
Okay. Did you find it?
No.
Let me help him look for it. I'll be right back.
I found it.
Oh, you did find it? Okay, good. Oh! Hi, King. It's not about not always being right, right? Maybe it is. I know I'm right when people milk me for every penny and take advantage of me, right? But I'm also right not to let it take over my live stream that's about me and cause me to get emotional. It's true. Some people really do take advantage and milk me for every penny. Thank you, Amber. But that doesn't matter because the live stream's about me, not them. The live stream's about my team, not the people who get off on watching me lose. So, yeah. And it doesn't matter if you're right. That's the whole point. Like, when you get defensive, you're like May said, you're fighting for what's right. It's my job now moving forward to be aware when I get triggered by something and react emotionally. I hate to say it, the worst part is it wasn't rage bait. So, thanks, VA to Wisconsin. Thanks, King. Exactly, Landry. Exactly, that's the whole point. Yeah. Like, for example, with the coffee shop situation, I was wrong, right? And I didn't see that I was wrong. But, how do I put this into words? It wasn't because I was wrong. It was because I had a complete childlike tantrum. People didn't give a shit if I was wrong. Or maybe they did. Maybe they were seeing that I was wrong. I think, though, they were more focused on the tantrum than anything. Oh, tacos are life. I don't know. Yeah, Holly. Thanks. I understand that. So here's the thing with the TJ Maxx situation. Just because I was allowed to record in there, and I was right in that sense, doesn't make it right to keep filming when someone else says stop filming, right? So yes, I was wrong to make it about, what do I say? Like, to make it into a power struggle. Yes, we know that people can make videos and take pictures and live stream in TJ Maxx. It happens all the fucking time. And I even went so far as to call the district manager to confirm my bias. But the moral of it is where I was wrong. It's not that hard to just say, okay, I respect that and shut the video off, right? But in that situation, I created a power struggle for myself. It wasn't even more than that. And made something that was literally so small into something so big because I felt like I was being treated unfairly like a child. That's the best way I can explain it. So, with the TJ Maxx situation, for the first fucking time, I can't believe I'm saying this, I was wrong. Yeah, King. Well, this is all a big shout out to Bug Baby. Thanks, Your Honor. I knew I was wrong to be even in that, to even get myself into. So I did grow from that TJ Maxx situation, by the way, because I learned to not stream or make videos in public places anymore, right? That was the takeaway from it, right? So I quit. I literally quit. I quit going and streaming or whatever in public. That was my takeaway from it. You know what? Fuck it. It's not about that. It's not that I can't go make videos in stores or whatever, share my experience. It's not to include others. And even if people want to be, and okay, yeah, get their consent. But it's more so, you can stream, you can live life and make videos in places like people do every day. If someone asks you not to, just respect that and move on. You don't have to, it's not, see, I took it as they're trying to be the maker of the rules. No, it's just like, no. You know what I'm saying? Does anyone get what I'm saying? Young Grasshopper is funny. Yes, Holly. So nonetheless, I'm gonna eat now. Yeah, Betty Spaghetti, and that is all. What's the word? Shout out to the guy who has been part of my streams for the last year and a half, and Bug Baby. I could talk about this all day and dissect my own conscious, and subconscious, right? Because a lot of it is subconscious. You think you're protecting yourself, and really you're not growing up, right? And I feel like a lot of people might have been stuck in that loop where they think they're protecting themselves when they could really just be growing up. You don't need to protect yourself from TJ Maxx employees. You don't need to protect yourself from coffee shop owners, right? And it's like funny because to look at it now, but in that moment when you feel like your life depends on it and you're threatened, you become a child fighting to protect yourself. And it's just so simple as that. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Thank you, Theata, Wisconsin. These are not a filter. They are 3D lashes from the brand Ardell from my Amazon storefront in my bio. Yes, King. Well, because let me give you an expensive. Example. I was looking at experience. Example. Tacos. No, I was earlier. I'm good. I wasn't crying because I was sad. I was crying because I got embarrassed and emotional. Oh shit! I can't even think of the example now. Our upbringing and life experiences, right? Let me give you an example. Say you're coloring on the wall with lipstick and you're 4 years old, and your caretaker walks up to you, smacks you in the head, takes away the lipstick, picks you up, throws you in your bedroom, shuts the door, shuts the lights off, and locks you in the room. And you're stuck there all night. And you're terrified. And the next time, and you get out, right? And you go to school the next day, and your aunt picks you up and says, "How was school?" And you say, "I didn't have a good day because I was up all night scared." And she says, "Why were you scared?" And you say, "Because my caretaker hit me in the head and locked me in my room, and I was really cold, and there were ghosts. There was ghosts. It was really dark. There were ghosts in the dark, and I was really scared of the dark. And though I was just like, I couldn't see, and I was feeling my way around, and all I felt was a cold wall." And then they say, "Oh, why did your caretaker do that?" And then you say, "I was coloring on the wall with lipstick." And they say, "Well, that wouldn't have happened if you wouldn't have colored on the wall with lipstick." And so then say your aunt takes you home to her house, and your uncle's there. And the aunt goes upstairs to the bathroom to take a shower. And while you're downstairs, your uncle says, "How was your day at school?" You want to repeat that same story to your uncle because you didn't get the emotional love, right? You weren't feeling loved. And your uncle says, "How was your day at school?" And you say, "Oh, well, it was hard. I couldn't sleep." And they say, "Why couldn't you sleep?" And you say, "Because my caretaker hit me in the head last night and threw me in a room and locked me in the room, and it was really dark and cold, and I was scared of the ghosts in my room. And I was trying to feel my way around the room to find my bed, but all I felt was a wall, and I was really cold and scared." And he says, why'd they do that?" And you say, "I was coloring on the wall with lipstick." And they say, "Now, why would you color on the wall with lipstick?" "Well, you could bring the lipstick and color on the wall in your bedroom too." And they like kind of make fun of you. You know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying here is something as trivial as coloring on the wall with lipstick, you feel like the constant need to look for reassurance that it's not justifiable what their actions were. And I guess if you never experienced that love, going back to what someone else said earlier, Sistas, I think that was your name, you kind of get trapped in that mentality when you become an adult and something small happens and you feel the need to prove yourself. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Hold on. I'm catching up with the comments. Oh, thanks, Jamie. Love you too. I'm looking at the comments, trying to catch up. Sister Wishes, there you are. But you keep coloring on the wall with lipstick and doing the same thing so people don't like it. No, that's not the point. The point is, it's never okay to hit someone and lock them in a cold room just because they're doing something small like coloring with lipstick. That's not a normal childhood. A normal childhood would be, hey, I know this is funny. Where'd you learn to do this? You know what I'm saying? And then I say something like, oh, I saw it on a movie. And then they would say something like, well, we color on paper. Here's paper. And I have a marker that looks just like this lipstick. So every time you feel like you want to color on the wall with lipstick, you just get this marker and color on this notebook, okay? And then you say, okay, that's what you do. You don't. I'm getting triggered again. Exactly, VA to Wisconsin. Thank you for coming back, Tammy. Correct, King. And so when you get trapped in that, like when you're treated on, so say that there's a situation. I don't know how to explain it, man. Yeah, sister. Yes, mommy's boo son. Exactly. Yeah. So. I don't really know what to say anymore. Yeah, VA to Wisconsin. Thanks, Holly. Yes, mommy boo. And it follows you in a way that you don't acknowledge because you think you're fighting for your life when something happens that you think is unfair and you're trying to protect yourself, but then, yeah, I don't know how to explain it. What's the trigger? That's the question. Thanks, King. It's a good live stream. What do you mean by that, mommy boo and son? Thanks, H. May. Thank you, VA to Wisconsin. But what's the trigger? You hear what I'm saying? That's true, Angelina. Yes, Sister Wishes. Sky, I get what you're saying. I don't want to make it about her. It's just about my experience. That's all. Challenges, you could be a trigger. Anything that would challenge me. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Crystal. I think it's pretty clear cut now. If it's not focused on my live stream and spreading happiness, and if anything starts to trigger me into not being happy or on topic, I have to just either ignore it and move and just revert my focus. And if I feel that I need to respond, I respond respectfully. But I think the best idea would just be to revert my focus and spread happiness at this point. Why punish yourself, right? Thank you, Lemon. Appreciate you. Love you. Step away, but be right back. Sending you a hug. Thanks, King. Appreciate you. Thanks for all the virtual hugs, guys. It can be hard, but remember, you already went through the worst. You're safe now. Thanks, Angelina. I get what you're saying. Thanks, Landry. I understand you completely. Hi, Angela. Yes, Betty, 100%. I really do. Landry, exactly. Angela, I'm pretty good, honestly. I'm feeling like it's a good live stream. Sister wishes, I understand that. I get it. And that'll be the best way for me to identify it. And if you guys catch me showing signs that I'm triggered, say, hey, this is a sign you're triggered, right? You know, screaming, crying, and shouting aren't always a sign of being triggered, right? Sometimes it's just like losing that happiness that you really should always have because you're safe now, right? Okay, Tina, I will. Thanks, thank you, Heather. I'm gonna stay more self-aware, if that makes sense. Thanks, Jenny. Yeah, Landry. Yeah, Betty, it can. Good night, Vieta, Wisconsin. Thanks. That's a good advice. Never give up. Thanks, Patricia. What does that mean, Sue? I don't know what that means. Thanks, sister. I'm really, when I become aware of something, I really like to, you know what I mean? Holly, yeah. I mean, I've been sleeping good. I like the live streams at night when we're watching traffic and everything. But yeah, that's why I like ending my live streams hanging out with you guys watching traffic. It's, I just like to. Simple. Affirmations are very powerful, Tina. One word of affirmation is 60 times stronger than a negative word. It would take 60 negative words to be as powerful as one word of affirmation. What? I'm not crying. Yeah, Patricia. Someone talked me down off a ledge and this live stream's better. You could be screaming, cussing everyone out, and people could be treating you like shit. What do you mean, Landry? Who said something earlier? They said something about charisma. Who was that was talking about charisma? Landry, what do you mean? Oh, how it was someone else that brought me awareness to have a live stream like this? Is that what you mean? A journal would be good to have a word of a day. Okay, the funniest thing is that I ordered a notebook online today. Not for that, but I'll have one now. I used to do that with the law of attraction, by the way, back in like 2017. Thanks, Johnny. Yeah, you're right, Holly. Thank you, Your Honor. Cape Codder, can you like repeat? Let me go back and look what you meant. because you said something that everything we do sends a ripple into the world. Look at us all being friends here. This is really the most I've ever commented. Healing is magical. Trust me. Yeah, and that ties into the law of attraction too. It's funny. I just thought of you. Maybe I like saw that, but like didn't finish reading it. Pause alive and breathe if I'm starting to feel that way. In our mid 40s, we start to know who we start to know who we really are. You're the middle child like Jan Brady. I have a charisma, and this journey will take me a step into a happy direction. See, that's what I'm saying. I really need to focus on happiness, and if anything diverts me from that, it's good if I take a pause from the stream, breathe, and redirect it, because there's no time for anything else. Thanks for that. What do you mean by charisma? Yes, Landry. I don't know if you were on my favorite app live stream. It was Bug Baby who sparked that in me. Anita, reactions, I guess, and regressions. Regressions that lead to childlike reactions. Just think what I could be doing right now if that person didn't say anything. This stream would have been a different direction. It would have been bad. It would have just been me ranting and raving and people nurturing my childlike feelings. So in a sense, you guys were the real ones all along for hearing out my pain, right? And the truth is now, I don't need to allow myself to feel pain when I have the option to choose happiness. So thanks for all the people who have been here and nurturing my feelings when I regress. You guys must relate to some degree. But yeah, Landry, you're right. This stream would have been totally unnecessary, you know, and a pattern of me regressing and having a tantrum. Being human is trying to understand where people are coming from and giving them love. Angela and I like that. And if you love yourself, you won't really have the need to spread anything but that. Right? If you catch yourself being triggered, take time for yourself. Yeah, Amber. Throwing a rock in the pond makes waves. Good or bad, right? Praying is good, Summer. Does anyone recommend having a directive for the majority of my live streams that'll help me stay focused and less triggered? What's a directive, Crystal? Charismatic people draw others in because of an engaging personality. Yeah, that's why I'm good on the internet, because I've always put myself out there to connect, right? Emotionally. That's it. So, like I said, some people were just meant for certain things because of my uncommon upbringing. I in turn made me the right fit for doing social media. It's easy for me to put myself and be out there on social media, which is why I get stage fright in real life if I'm presenting a paper, if I have a slideshow, if I'm on a stage, right? Versus the internet, I used to use this as a place to connect with people when I was a kid. Oh. Thanks, guys. Yes, Sister Wishes. Thank you. Thanks, Summer. Yes, because people who love themselves love others. And people, it's more than that too. Like when you feel the need to defend and protect yourself, you have to know you're always going to be protected if you love yourself. And I get it. I get it completely. Hi, Amy. So, I don't really know what else to say right now other than I need to eat. I haven't eaten all day. I mean, I did. I had pistachios, but that doesn't really count. Thanks, Amber. That's the unique thing, child advocate. There's probably a lot of people here that I attract for the same exact reason. Right? Like Cape Cod said, I have charisma. Shit, man. That hot sauce was really fucking hot. I gotta blow my nose now. My nose is running. Ow. Sorry. Hang on. Ow. Damn, that's spicier than before. Oh. Oh my god, the hot sauce hasn't ever been so hot. Oh. I would argue a lot of people who watch me can relate to me in a sense to my emotions. And that's that charisma of me reaching out to people for emotional support, right? Maybe I didn't even know that's why I was having outbursts. And yeah, if you're someone who experienced childhood trauma, it would make sense. You've been attracted to my live streams. It's like a magnet. So, the truth is, if all of you facing triggers, regressions, or who have overcome triggers and regressions, all those who have PTSD, who have experienced traumatic events or have overcome those traumatic events, a lot of you are probably watching me because that's what I attract, right? Because you have to remember my live streams have been emotional, a lot of them. Whether I'm angry, sad, venting, stuff like that. A lot of you guys watching me are attracted to that because you can relate, which means a lot of people who watch me probably have childhood trauma. For those of you for those of you arguing and saying it's common, I just have one question. The majority of people you grew up with didn't understand what we were going through. Therefore, no, it's not common. The truth is, most people growing up don't have to deal with traumatic events. And while there's literally tens, if not hundreds of millions of people who experience childhood trauma, it's still uncommon. So it's common in my live stream for me to say, yeah, there's probably a ton of people here who had traumatic events at one point in their childhood or in their early adult life or teenage years, adolescence. And you get what I'm saying? Oh, shoot, I'm coughing so bad. Where'd you go? You get what I'm saying, child advocate? It is uncommon. If you had the same type of childhood where you've had now feelings of abandonment as an adult or not being heard, feeling the need to protect yourself, survival mode, fight or flight, that's uncommon. It might be common here. No, but identifying it and understanding your triggers and being self-aware and reflecting on how you can grow from... I'm doing it again, guys. I'm getting triggered and I'm defending myself and I'm fighting for the right, May May. Is May May here? It's happening again. Who sees it? I'm already having it. Child advocate, I agree with you. I understand. Thank you for being here. I understand. It's not unique. I know. It's not unique. But that doesn't make it okay. Thanks, Tina. I know, Kelly, and I'm aware of it now. I was like about to do it again. So, I understand exactly what you're saying. But you also have to remember, for every child you fostered, they were outnumbered by their peers who had moms and dads. And while it's common to have childhood trauma, when you're growing up around people who have love, you feel inadequate. You get what I'm saying? Oh yeah, Landry, I get it. Sister wishes, that's a great perspective. Exactly. That's all I'm trying to say. And I don't have to be crass, defensive, or disrespectful anymore when there's a miscommunication or a disagreement. You know, my life isn't in imminent danger if someone disagrees with me. Oh, thanks, Tina. Hi, Jamie. Sister wishes. You get how, like, yes, there's a lot of people in school when you're growing up, when you're a kid, who can relate, and those people typically end up being your friends, right? But those people are rare and few. You get what I'm saying? That's all I'm trying to say. Now, as of like numbers, it's not uncommon. No, there are literally tens of millions of kids who experience trauma, right? But like physically experiencing it is what I'm saying. No, I don't think I'm the only one. No. I can't even go back and remember what I said. When you have an uncommon childhood, a lot of people might not understand the behavior tied to it. That's all. Because for the majority, it doesn't make you better or worse than others. It doesn't make you unique. No. But for the majority, most people have healthy childhoods, both parents, stuff like that. That's all I'm trying to say. And maybe when Asher Kitty opened up, and you remember that? People thought I lacked empathy and stuff. Maybe I don't have a way to communicate my empathy into words. You get what I'm saying? Because when she was saying that, I was like boiling up and getting so angry, and and a lot of people said, "Oh wow, you're a terrible person. You have no empathy." Maybe I also blacked out as a defense mechanism, right? Because my whole life, like when people tell me things that are traumatic, I literally like not dissociate, but maybe. Yeah, Amy. Yeah, Amber, literally. And if you're in face of it, you kind of black out. Maybe that's what it is. What's a split, Anita? Can you explain what that is? Child advocate, what mindset? I mean, I never even said that, though, child advocate. I've never even talked about childhood trauma until today. But yeah, I get what you're saying. Singling myself out when I need to be heard and fight for my feelings. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's 95% of these things are really small and could have been avoided when I just could have let it go and accepted the other person's perspective and respected it and moved on. I get it now. Trauma's a form of grief, huh? What is stigmatized because of behavior tied to us? Wait. So, Anita said, She said she's come to understand what's happened to her is not her fault, and neither is the result of the trauma. And oh, where'd it go? People are extremely stigmatized because of the behavior tied to us, like borderline. She said she lacks empathy when she splits. A borderline split. It's black and white thinking, all good, all bad. It's triggering to hear certain things, yes. She lacks empathy in a bad splitting situation. Yes. In a splitting situation. Like, yeah, like hearing what happened. So basically, I'll give you an example since you weren't present in the live stream. So, no pun intended. Sorry, I'm joking. Because I split. That had to have been what it was. So I had a live stream with a woman named Asher Kitty, and she was sharing a very, very, very traumatic event. And I don't want anyone to split right now. So I'm just gonna say it was such a traumatic event that I just went while she's talking, and I'm like this, and I try my best to ask some questions, and I'm just like, I'm listening, but I'm like, and so, yeah, I don't know how to explain that. If your favorite person could trigger you unintentionally or intentionally, and they become someone your brain is now going to protect you from. What do you mean? You're 50 and you wished you had someone to talk to or listen to when you were younger. Yeah, Angelina, me too. That's why some of my favorite people growing up were therapists. I did, right? I asked her, I can't remember what I said though, that's the problem. I just remember wanting to get that guy, right? Maybe that's because I was getting triggered and emotional, right, Kelly? Processing it quickly. Processing it as trauma and wanting to know. So maybe getting protective, I don't know. Not in a way that discredits her feelings. King, like who's not that like she's a threat, like that the person is an existing threat. Maybe that's why I said, is he still alive today, right? Because she's older than me. Maybe people don't understand that if you're splitting, you go into this fighter mode where you want to protect yourself and others, right? What do you mean, Anita? I'm sorry to hear that, Jenny. Yeah. Well, I'm on Adriel Tube. That's my YouTube. If you're hearing me on TikTok, we're just psychoanalyzing human behavior. And that includes my own, that includes anyone who's vulnerable, and speaking with kindness tonight. So thank you for being here on my YouTube live stream. And I'm gonna battle later. I'm still ranked on favorited app. I'm obviously gonna keep hanging out. I'll probably get back on favorited app at 11. I got a lot. I'm learning a lot from people tonight from all different backgrounds. Thank you. If the child in you gets hurt or triggered, it makes you feel like that person isn't who they claimed. Yeah, hold on. If they play music, I have to mute. Okay. Anita, do you mind answering how old you were when you were diagnosed? Well, I was diagnosed with PTSD and panic disorder. So I will say I haven't had panic attacks in a long time. However, it could still be there where, like Callie says, I get heightened, right? And if I go through regression because of my PTSD, that could lead me to both being heightened and regressing, which leads to tantrums. And now that I'm aware of this, like, look at how effective that was. Let me tell you, when I became aware of the fact I was triggered while speaking to and responding to child advocate, right? That was me being aware of 1, PTSD trigger, 2, the child in me is about to have a tantrum, right? I started doing it. I started getting defensive and going back and forth. And then I said, wait, I'm doing that. And instead of muting and blocking her, what did I do? I said, actually, I agree and I understand with you. And I reread what she said. And then I learned from it. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying here is, instead of choosing, no, you don't choose to regress and have a tantrum. Hang on. Nobody chooses to regress and have a tantrum, right? They do it until they are aware of it. And crazy enough, a few days ago, a guy who is very into my live streams that I talk to on a regular basis, who's been in part of my live streams for like a year and a half, brought up the fact, Adrielle, you can tell me if this is crossing the line, if it crosses your boundaries. I just want to point this out. When you get upset like this is you regressing into your childhood because of an unresolved trauma from your childhood. And you would be so much better if you could resolve your childhood trauma, because what I'm seeing is you're getting very defensive and protecting yourself, and that goes back to trauma. And he even pointed out it happens with women. And he said, it sounds like you have unresolved trauma from a maternal figure in your life. And the sooner you address that, the happier you're going to be, and you'll have peace. And sometimes we find that through God, right? But it wasn't until Pug Baby also mentioned, hey, remember, this is about you, right? And so I'm thinking, oh, my live streams are about me. Yeah, that's a good point. And then I questioned, why am I making my live streams about other people? Which made me remember what that guy said to me a few days ago. And now here we are. And here I was arguing, kind of getting defensive, and that goes PTSD, which heightens you, regression, which, what is regression, right? You go back to a child state mind, heightened child state mind, and you get defensive like a child. You get what I'm saying? I don't even know if she's still here. I bought a sticker for yourself that says, at least all this trauma made me hilarious. It makes me laugh. You were diagnosed when you were 30, or no, when you were 26. You're diagnosed. What's the difference between PTSD versus CPTSD? Anita, I'm sorry. No, man, I went from age 7 to 26 years old. I was in therapy. All the therapists. I've only been diagnosed with PTSD and panic disorder. Truly. My gynecologist said I had symptoms of PMDD one time and recommended Zoloft, but I took one Zoloft one time and literally went crazy, and I'll never do that again. Not for me. So, man, that made me go crazy. Am I giving Bug Baby the credit for something I may have been wanting to subconsciously talk about myself? No. No. I swear. Here, let me go back and read where you guys are at now. What, King? That's what attracts them all together here, in your opinion. What does that mean? Can you tell me more what that means? I'm all done with therapy, man. I really am. I'm gonna see how I'm doing now that this has been, like, on my mind for the last few days and see how things turn out. Yeah, Zoe, I didn't like it. Oh, okay, Anita. I'm an open book, yeah, King. I just said that earlier because Cape Cod said something like about I have charisma that attracts people, and I was thinking like that would probably be unresolved trauma, right? And that would be the reason why a lot of people who watch me can relate. Oh yeah, King, I get what you're saying. That's true. It might not always be that. No, you're right. Not everyone watching me has that. But I don't know. Oh, thanks, King. I've always been fascinated by the internet. Since I discovered Yahoo chat rooms when I was 8 years old. Hang on. Did you make... Thanks, everyone. Hi, Russet. Yeah, King, I don't know. Thanks, Amber. I don't really know what to say now. I feel like... Just so... Mindful... Does anyone have more information on mindfulness? Like, if you could just... illustrate it. We gotta learn what it means, Amber. We gotta focus on happiness. I'm done regressing. I feel so free right now. I really feel so good. Hi, Candace. I'm good. How are you? Staying in the present moment, right? Because when you regress, you go into a childlike state of mind. Is that why? What do you mean, Tina? Thanks, King. Life is meant to be happy. Next time where's Anita? Is Anita here? I don't know if Anita is still here. I want to ask her a question. Shoot, Anita left. Does anyone ever split when someone shares a traumatic event or, oh gosh, anything? Bad news, period. Does anyone ever split when someone tells you bad news? Like someone tells you that they're, you know what I mean? Oh, I wish Anita was here. She'd be able to explain it to us, Amber. Right. Like you get a little heightened, and like if someone tells you bad news. Yes, Zachary. So like instead of like freezing, not saying anything, we're getting panicky and talking over them, getting excited, or any of that. We're not all perfect, right? Instead of being like how do you communicate it when you are triggered by it? Like, hey, this is really triggering. I don't know how to respond to this. That's awful. I'm sorry you went through that. Like, how do you communicate it when you start to like get like that when people tell you bad news? How do they react when they start to split, King? What do they do? I don't know if that's exactly what it is. Yeah, Tina. Yeah. Amber, I'm sorry. No. No. Just, that's not what I mean. Hey, I wish Anita was here. She was just explaining it earlier. Thank you, King. Same to you. The OGBYN, right? I don't know. They do that. If you have PMDD, they can offer you antidepressants or something. I don't know. They also try to offer birth control first. Hang on, music. Okay, I'm here. No, I don't know. Well, I wanted to talk to Anita if she came back, but I don't know how to get her back in here. Landry, I know. I'm good, Samuel. How are you? I know, Landry. You're telling me. I know. I'm aware of that. Tina, I know. That's a good point, right? I've broken it down to those two things, though. So now that I'm, like, given a task, I should be able to figure it out. Gratitude is a strong vibration. Thanks, guys. All right, I'm gonna eat this vegan calzone now. It's been 148 minutes. All right. God, I just dropped the mushroom and vegan ricotta in the sauce, and it's going everywhere. I'm good, Sarah. How are you? No, I'm good. I'm just focused. That's all. It's just like I feel just really aware. I don't know how to explain it. On how to just start focusing on myself. You know what I mean? It's easier said than done until you understand the root of why sometimes that we lose the focus on ourselves. I don't like that, Your Honor. I don't know. I don't want to think about it. The fucked up thing is we probably wouldn't even remember because your brain blacks it out, right? I don't know. I don't like thinking about that. I don't want to think about it. I've gone through some fucked up shit, though. I'll tell you that. I've seen ghosts. I used to see ghosts the most when I was a kid. Okay, Your Honor, go to Google and Google Guernsey Hollow Haunted Cemetery, New York. Come back after you read about it. I'll tell you a story about that place. About a ghost I saw. 2 ghosts. Wow, this is so good. This is literally so good. Mm-hmm. Amber, I'm sorry. Shay, hang on. I was diagnosed with PTSD when I was a teenager. I was diagnosed with panic disorder and PTSD again when I was 19. And then later on in my 20s, when I was in rural Pennsylvania, 2 different therapists, again, PTSD and panic disorder. So to say the least, I was diagnosed with PTSD when I was a teenager, and then panic disorder when I was 19, and PTSD again. And then again in my 20s, same thing, PTSD and panic disorder. But I got over the panic disorder when I was 26 with EMDR. And I truly don't get panic attacks anymore. It's crazy. It feels really nice not getting panic attacks anymore. Like, to the degree I used to get them. I'm not a fan of prescription medication, so I went to EMDR. Thank you. I do. I've actually, that's crazy you mentioned that. Lately, I start getting panicky when I have to go on long drives, and I'm not really sure why, because that never happened before. That is true, but that's not what used to cause them. I know what used to cause them. I don't understand why the long drives cause me panic attacks. I could assume why. But anyway. I bought the calzone from a restaurant. I've never made a calzone. I'm sorry, Amber. I don't know what to say. Everyone has a choice in how they feel they need to go about panic disorder, so whatever works for you. Cal, I'm okay. How are you? Wait, are you the same Cal as before with a different profile picture now, or? Oh, okay. Hi. Mm. No, not you, Kelly. There was a Kel earlier. Delene, no, it's okay. Yeah, I'm good with Kat. What's up? Oh, okay, Cal. I gotta go check out how my son's soup came out, and I might eat the rest of this calzone. Just saying. Because it's really good. Let me see how your soup came out. You have grated cheese?
What?
You have grated cheese?
No.
Oh. Talk to your friends today?
What?
Hang out and talk to your friends today?
Yeah, you go.
That hot sauce, you should try it. It's really good. It's so spicy. How are you?
Good.
I love you. Do you want grated cheese? Do you want grated cheese with crackers? Okay. All right, hang on. I'm gonna blow my nose because it's the hot sauce. Wow, my son made a lot of soup and it looks really good. I have to make the AC so it's not so cold in here. Wow, there's a lot more cyclists. Whoa. Sorry about that. Everyone, thanks for being here. Thanks for liking the live stream. Anita, if you're here, I hope Anita comes back. I have some questions for you. And thank you. Thank you so much. And shout out to Bug Baby and my friend over there who inspired this live stream, which originally was going to go one way and was rescued into going another way. Grateful, grateful. Thanks, guys. I wish Anita was back. I don't know who's here. Who's still here? Comment yes if you're here. Oh, music. I have to mute. Comment yes if you're here. Oh, Your Honor, did you read about Guernsey Hollow? I'll tell you a ghost story about that place if you did. No, Amber, I don't. So if you didn't read about it, I'll tell you anyway. But when I was 15, I was babysitting for someone, and when she got home from work, she decided to take me and her friends to a place called Guernsey Hollow, which is a haunted cemetery. And I thought it was like this big public tourist attraction that people go to at night because I'm 15, right? I just like assumed that lots of people were going to be there, like a haunted house type thing event. So when I get there, we pull up alongside the road and we start walking towards the cemetery. And I see an old lady chasing after her grandson, grandkid. I couldn't remember the gender. I think it was a grandson. And then I saw the granddaughter. I saw two kids like dispersed in the woods and she was running after them. And I didn't think anything of it because I just thought it was like a place where lots of people were with the intent to be entertained. So later on in life, like literally years later, I'm reading about Guernsey Hollow and I learned that some people will see the ghost of the old lady chasing after the two grandkids. And I didn't even know that context. Like there was no internet back then. This was in 2006. 2006, right? So, yeah, it's just a weird story and it's about ghosts. And guys, comment yes if you can hear me and how many fingers am I holding up if you can see me. Okay, I hate to do this, but I need to make a call really quick and I'll be right back. Sorry for the wait. I don't know how many minutes that was. 3 minutes, but I'm back. I'm waiting to see if Anita's here. Sorry, let me go back up and scroll. Rogue saw me hold up 2 fingers, guys, so you can hear me and see me. Yeah, but I wasn't Googling Guernsey Hollow in 2006, Dan. It wasn't until later on. Thank you, Lemon. What's the gut brain? Oh, healthy digestive system. Yeah, I agree with that statement. Russet, hello. I don't know if Your Honor's still here, but oh, thanks for being here, guys. Thanks for hanging out on this live stream. It's been a good live stream. Oh. Lemon, are you still here? Thanks for being here. Yeah, it's been a really good live stream, Amber. I'm sorry you missed the beginning. It's good. Thanks to Bug Baby and everyone. And yeah, I don't really know what to talk about right now. Oh, music. Crystal, I love that. Guys, remember, can you enable notifications right here? Or... The weather's really nice here. It's like, it was in the 80s, almost 90 today, and very humid, but it was nice. Guys, where's the team at here who said they're gonna keep an eye out for when they start to notice I experience a trigger or regression? If you guys have the time. I don't expect you guys to have the time. Please be transparent, please. Amber, thanks for bringing it up. I would never judge you, and I'm glad you are bringing it up because there's a lot of awesome people here who can relate. Your Honor, I literally am the same fucking way, even though I'm single. Like, I was just talking about this today, and I'll get more into it later. I'm just catching up on the comments right now, and I'll get into it later, Your Honor, if you have like another 20 or 30 minutes. This comment right here, I'm going to be getting into that because I said something very similar earlier, and I'll tell you more how I feel and how I can relate. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Crystal. Thank you, Your Honor. I agree with that, Your Honor. This is less about healing and more about growing and choosing happiness. Becoming aware of something that I lacked awareness on and choosing happiness. I'll get into it more in a few minutes. I don't want to talk about it. Just give me a few minutes. Um, so I can't, yeah. Thank you, Tara Lynn. No, it's not lagging. I'm just, hang on. I didn't want to talk while my son was in the room. He was, putting some stuff away and eating and stuff like that. Okay. Hang on. I'm gonna, because again, this is just like a personal topic for everyone, and I was just waiting for him to finish up the stuff he was doing. Okay. So I'm the same way, Your Honor. I feel the same way. Like I don't know how else to explain it. if not, it doesn't need to be a boyfriend or a husband or a partner. Just like another person in my life to go out places with and motivate me. That's how I am. Like I can go out alone, right? But I'm more motivated to do it if there's another person in my life. I don't know. Is that how a lot of people are though? Like, don't get me wrong. I go out places alone all the time, but I'm more motivated when there's another adult I'm sharing the experience with. Like, I genuinely can't handle it when I take my kids places and they both have a conflict. Like, one wants to go this way, one wants to go that way. And if I choose a side, they get into a fight and think I'm picking sides. So it's really hard for me to handle that. Whereas if like there's a friend with me, a family member with me, or a boyfriend with me, he can go that way and I can go that way, or he can like help vouch for me and be like, yeah, well, we're all gonna go to the same place. It's hard being a single parent, and I was just explaining that earlier, how unnatural it feels. And I was just gonna say that's exactly how I am. I struggle at being a single parent when it comes to like going places. Like the best example would be like amusement parks. They don't all want to go on the same rides. My daughter wants to go on the bumper carts. My son wants to go on the roller coaster. My youngest daughter wants to go to the arcade and eat cotton candy. Like it's physically impossible to all do it together. But like if I had a boyfriend, he'd be like, "Oh, I'll ride on the roller coaster with you, and you can go with the girls to get cotton candy, and then play bumper carts, and then go to the arcade." And it's just so much easier going out when you have another adult with you. Do you guys get what I'm saying? I'm not complaining. And if you perceive that as complaining, I don't know what to say. Sorry, he was cleaning up his, and putting his stuff in a container. It was loud. Did you guys get what heard me? Hello? Did you hear everything I just said, Your Honor? Hello? Exactly, Your Honor. Thank you. It's just, that's how my mind works. That's how I am. Yeah, and there's no like solution to it. It's just, I just think naturally it's easier being with a partner when you have kids. I wish I could communicate it in a way so that you don't feel it that way. That's my way of relating to Your Honor. I wish you didn't feel that way because that was not my tone at all. And I'm sorry if you feel that I'm speaking that way. I'm more than aware that I'm not the only single parent. I'm just relating to Your Honor, who's married with children. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is an example where I get triggered. If you want me to be transparent about my triggers, when I feel that I'm being misunderstood and I have to fight for myself. That's where I end up getting triggered, where I end up going around in circles and you see me throw a tantrum. So if I could say right now, I'm feeling triggered. I don't know who's still watching. That is an extremely triggering thing. And I don't know how to communicate with people when that type of thing happens. Yeah, Terry Lynn, it really does. And I don't know who's still here, but yeah. Dabs, I need a safe word. I need a safe word. Is my safe word Dabs? What should my safe word be? Thank you, Your Honor. My safe word should just be triggered. Thanks, Sister Wishes. Yeah, Tina. It feels good to identify it versus engage in a power struggle. So, I forgot Sister Wishes, but I remember that. I forgot, though. No, I just will be open of the fact that it's a trigger. I'm not really a person of safe words. Yeah, because it's like, you know, it's just, I'll just say if I'm feeling triggered, I'll explain I'm feeling triggered. Thank you, Truth Bird. No, Your Honor. That's true, Tara Lynn, and that's where I start to feel misunderstood. I'm not complaining, I'm just sharing my needs as a woman with 3 children. And Your Honor, when she said that she fears leaving her house without her husband, I literally feel the same way to an extent. It doesn't feel good in the moment. It feels incredibly stressful. Why, J-Ro? It's tough, Terilyn. I really do have to justify myself, or I'm really expected to justify myself on a constant basis when I'm, you know, just being human and relating. Like it's a constant thing where I'm just sharing my feelings and I'm constantly being misunderstood. It's very difficult, right? And triggering, especially triggering. That's the best way I can put it. Anyway, just thought I'd share that with Your Honor. Thank you. So there's banana peppers. The banana peppers are crunchy. They're really good too. Ugh. Yeah, Amber, same. It's the best. Me too, Sister Wishes. Fuck, I have to blow my nose. All right, you want me to be honest? I'm triggered again. This is literally something that I would have started arguing about. The triggered Adrielle would have asked, what do you mean we're both from different backgrounds, and taken offense to it. But now that I'm aware of a trigger and I've been getting along just fine with Your Honor, I'm going to think like an adult and ask, yes, that's the best part about the internet. You meet people from all different backgrounds. What's your background? That's the best way I can put it. Is as transparently as possible, not condescending, not angry. maturely. And the question is, why would that trigger me, right? Do I have an inferiority complex? Oh, I keep sneezing. It's the worst. No, I know. And the question is why? You know what I mean? Why would that, like, you know what I'm saying? I'm just being honest. That's all. What do you mean, J-Ro? Yes, Sister Wishes. Yes, Truthbird. Exactly. Yes, that's the whole point. Defensive. What the fuck are these people doing? They're outside clapping. I'm not angry. I don't feel offended either. I'm just aware now instead of being defensive. Like I'm comparing regression into a child and feeling inadequate versus an adult. Wow, I'm protected. I'm safe. Everything's fine. We're all different backgrounds. Oh, thank you, Truthbird. That's true, Terralyn. Oh, and people judge me a lot because, one, I'm defensive, and that's an easy way to judge someone. Like, why are you so defensive? What's wrong with this person? Right? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense now. And then two, yeah, I'm unconventional. I know this might come across and I might get misunderstood when I say I'm a single mom, and I get a lot of judgment for that. But I know there's probably a lot of other single moms watching who could agree. Yeah, people sometimes will treat you differently for that fact alone, or just in general. What do you mean, Delene? No, you didn't trigger me, Your Honor. You would have. I'm just aware now of regressions, if that makes sense, and I wanted to be transparent through it. I'm not angry, I promise. If I were, I would have started flipping out. No, I know, Your Honor. I don't know what my problem is. And, like, say I were to have read this comment, we're different backgrounds, I'm married, you're single, different views on things. That would have triggered me because, you know, I don't know. Like, some people don't want to be single parents, you know what I mean? They want to have a partner. They just, you know, sometimes life isn't cut out that way for them. Thanks, Terralyn. What's your zodiac sign? Yeah, Sister Wishes. There's a fly in here. Shift your mind from negative to positive. If people call you out on things, and I know it'll be hard because your defense walls are up, but then again, it's mindfulness. I do the same thing. It's not even a fly. I don't know what it is. Thanks, Your Honor. It's not an attic. It used to be an apartment. So I live in a house that used to be 3 apartments. First, second, third floor. And they decided to renovate it and turn it into a house, 1, 2, 3, a townhouse. Yeah. Trigger. Yeah. Yeah. I just don't understand how they could have possibly had a kitchen on that in my bedroom floor, but anything's possible, I guess. Oh, hang on. I have to mute. I don't know. I don't know what it looked like. All I know is that there used to be 3 apartments. This townhouse and that townhouse, the whole building used to have 6 units. 3 on this side, 3 on that side. And like, I'm the first person to live here since it's been remodeled. So when the Wi-Fi people came to set it up, they had to actually install the cables and everything. And they still have it as unit 3, which is so annoying because it's not. It's literally just 1. It's not 1, 2, 3. They call it unit 3 when it's not, because that's what it was before. Yeah, literally. Any situation where I'm told I'm wrong and I feel the need to prove myself as if I'm misunderstood, I guess my emotions would heighten and I'd regress and flip out like a child. 4 levels, technically. There's the basement level, that's ground level, the kitchen level, the bedroom level, and then my bedroom level. And I didn't say that it was 5 stories. I said it was 4. And that when I was looking for places to rent, I was looking for gated communities, but I never actually moved into one. What do you mean, Tina? Hi, Gail. This vegan pepperoni is good. Oh, I don't remember. I might have just been being sarcastic, probably. I don't know. You going to bed?
Yeah.
All right, love you. Good night. Sister Wishes, what's your zodiac sign? Two Scorpios. Um, I've never personally had any issues with a Scorpio, but I've seen some of them be horrible, and yeah, horrible. But one of my best friends of 17 years, again, she's a Scorpio. I miss her from time to time, but things happen. In my real life, I met my dad when I was 18. He's a Scorpio, but I don't know him that well, but the only Scorpio I really knew, was my best friend. Oh, you know what? My neighbor, who was really amazing towards me when I was a kid, I lived underneath her for like 3 years. She's a Scorpio. And so was her husband. And the crazy thing was that I still talk to her to this day. And my childhood therapist, when I was in high school, up until I was like 20 years old, Scorpio. When I took my son to a therapist to like talk about like making choices of friends, which was before he got jumped, I actually called her, the Scorpio. And she was actually like a director of, she wasn't even a therapist anymore. She had gotten promoted. She's a really good person. Scorpios can be really bad though. You know, I don't like talking about it, but if you know, you know. Cape Cod's a Pisces. I'm an Aries, Melanie. I'm sorry to hear that, Debbie. That's good, Melanie. I don't know who Crystal is. I'm sorry. Gail. I've never seen an angry Sagittarius. I mean, I dated a Sagittarius, and when he'd get angry, he'd get banned from bars. He used to like to fight. Okay, this is gonna be my last bite because I'm actually getting full. These calzones are really good. Crystal, I thought you were a Christo. That's probably what the issue was. My bad. Wait. Why would I call you fake? Are you sure I was talking to you? My best friends growing up were Virgo, Leo, Gemini, Scorpio, and Sagittarius. Mm-hmm. It probably wasn't at you. I hate to say it. Sometimes I would have done that. I mistakenly blocked people, and I'm sorry that happened to you. Accuse her of what? Of being fake? What was your username on there? I would have to know what you're talking about to remember. Was your account Crystal? I don't ever remember blocking a Crystal. Crystal. I remember there being a Crystal. Hi, Bug Baby. What? Crystal, I don't know what you're talking about. That's what my best friend was with. My best friend of 17 years got with she's a Scorpio who got with a Sagittarius. He literally isolated from her whole family and all her friends. And they moved like thousands of miles away. Yes, Sister Wishes. Bug Baby is what inspired me to have this live stream. The peak was like an hour ago. We're all calm and chill now. So, yeah, Dawn, I always thought you were a Gemini for some reason. Hey, Kelly, thanks for coming back. I'm looking for Anita. No, I don't know, Tina, probably. They're probably really expensive, too. Bug Baby, I hope you've had a good night. Guys, I want to go back on Favorite App for a little bit. So, because I'm ranked right now. Top 50, I believe. So, I'll be over on Favorite App.